Hi everybody, I'm going to take you through the basics of Prezi. If you made it to the information session, this will just sort of be a review and a backup resource for you. If you weren't able to make it to the information session, this will be an introduction for you and you can kind of work your way through it. If you need some help, feel free to come by B218, that's my room, or email me, or you can call me or whatever. Just bring a laptop and I'll help you get things set up. Sign up if you haven't done so already, and it's quick, easy, and free. Don't do anything that's paid unless you want to. Log in after you've got your account all situated. And when you first log in, it shows you your Prezis. It shows you everything you've created. You can see I've got 6 pages worth of Prezis that I've created. When you want to make a new one, you would just click New Prezi, obviously. But if you have one that you already have created and you want to edit it, you click on it first. And then down here you have a couple of options. You can edit Prezi. You can edit together so that you and a team member can edit the same Prezi, and you can even do it at the same time. It's pretty cool. Shows little people floating around. You can view together, which means you can share your Prezi and view it at the same time with somebody else. Download means you can save it onto your laptop, desktop, or wherever. Save a copy just creates a copy, and that way you can edit the same Prezi but give it a different twist or whatever you want to do. Or you can delete it. These are very helpful. Edit, of course, is probably the main one or the only one you'll use to start with. Download is the next one I recommend. When you download, it exports to portable Prezi, and when it does that, it creates a zip file. And I'm going to show this first so that after you've already created it, you'll know how to download it. It creates a downloadable Prezi, and you just click the link to download it. And I'm going to open it. I don't need to save it. I'm going to do open, but you will want to save it and save it to whatever folder you're choosing to save your Prezis. I'm going to open just so that I can show you what it looks like on the inside. And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go ahead and close this. Oh, there we go. All right, it is a zip file. You can see up here, .zip. Well, within the zip file, you've got this basic test Prezi. This is the zip file I just made. You have one folder, and that's it. You'll want to copy this folder and paste it to wherever it is you're going to save your files. Once you've done that and you go into it, you see there's 2 folders and a Prezi.exe. The Prezi.exe is your presentation. So when you run that Prezi, actually I'll go ahead and do that. I'll just save it to my desktop. Control-C, Control-V, copy and paste. So I've got my basic test Prezi here. Prezi.exe. This is the presentation that I just downloaded. You'll want to run when that pops up. And you'll make it full screen. And this is how you can make it work with your laser pointer clicker. It doesn't work if you're online, but if you download it, you can use your laser pointer clicker, and that way you don't have to stand by the computer clicking the button all the time. You can use the arrow keys on your keyboard. You can use these arrow keys, but also when you've downloaded it, you can use the clicker. And it'll zoom around just fine. And in fact, I would recommend doing this because Internet Explorer kind of sucks and it gets glitchy and animation doesn't work sometimes, but this is always smooth when you download it. So we can exit that. You can rename it whatever you want. Don't touch these files. What you're going to want to do is rename this so that it's easy to find. So that's the basic test Prezi. That's how to download. But, John, you say, I can't download something that I haven't made yet. So let's learn how to do that. We're going to start with a new Prezi. And I'm clicking New Prezi here. So it loads my canvas. This whole workspace is called a canvas. PowerPoint, you have slides, and you're limited because you can only show what's on those slides at one time. With the canvas, it's like a painting. You can look at one part of the painting up close, or you can look at the whole painting. Well, once we have our idea of what we want to do in mind, our notes or presentation or whatever, we have a lot of templates we can pick from that they've already done for us, or we can make a blank one. I like some of these templates, and the 3D ones especially. They're a new edition, and they're really cool, and you'll see how those work. So let's make a Perspective 2 3D presentation. We'll start editing that one. I would recommend, if you're not sure what you're doing, start with one of the 3D because it already has a background image for you and it already has path points programmed in for you. So this is the home view, your home screen. So this is your home screen, and if you're ever lost, if you zoom in way too far and you're not sure where you are, by the way, this you can see how it's kind of cool that it zooms in, but also you hit a certain point where you can't zoom in anymore. That means stop zooming in and back up a little bit. It gets a little glitchy. You can also zoom out to a certain point and it'll stop you. But let's say we're not sure where we are. I don't know what I need, where I am, where my text is. Oh no, I'm lost. Well, I click the home button and it takes me right back to this home view. So we have our first path point programmed in. That's this view right here inside this frame. This frame looks kind of weird with these little brackets on the edge. This is a hidden frame. Hidden. You can also do brackets or a circle or a box that's shaded in as you add your own information. But let's say I want to edit number 2. It zooms in right there for me. I'm double clicking and then it adds a path point there automatically. And then I double click again and I can add text. Now maybe it's tough to read. Well, you have other fonts you can choose. Maybe that looks pretty and very nice, so we'll make it. There we go. Beautiful. Now, what I just did there, those of you who already saw it, you know, this inner circle is how you resize the text. When you click and hold, all you have to do is move left and right, and it makes it bigger, makes it smaller, makes it bigger, makes it smaller. The outer circle with the lines is how you rotate things, and you just go clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever way. Now you notice as I'm doing this how this circle and this text, they both kind of light up, like they get bolded or emphasized. That's telling me that this text is exactly in line, straight, parallel with those other items. I can keep going past it, but it kind of locks for a second and it stops me and then I can continue. That's telling me that it's the same, it's lined up. Now maybe I want, maybe I want some more text, but I want them to be the same size. Same thing. I click on this, and when I make the size bigger, we see how the pink text lights up or gets emphasized. That means these are now both the same font size. Maybe I can't select something though. Maybe I'm trying to click on something and it's just not letting me. Like this. I can't select this frame for some reason. It's grayed out. I don't know why. Well, the reason why is I need to zoom out so that it kind of gets bolded, emphasized, and then I can select it. And anytime you have a frame, everything inside that frame is grouped. So this text here, I can grab it and I can move it out. I can grab this and move it out. But when they're in here together, they're a part of this frame, so they move all together. Maybe I don't like that I just did that. I want to undo it. Undo button. So that's our first one. We have this other plus sign, which means we'll go from here to that first one. Maybe I want to zoom in again on this one. I click there and we see that it zooms in. I double click. It makes a path point automatically. Then I just type whatever it is that I want, and I can do that quite a bit. If I do it too much though, it'll run into that cannot zoom in more. But that looks really cool. So you can have, let's say if you're taking your old notes, you can have Roman numeral 1 being this view, then letter A in your notes being that one, and then letter B could be that one, and then Roman numeral 2 might be number 4 here. We go up a level. So this is the basics of how you're adding things. You insert images. If you have something saved, you just select File, and you can pick whatever it is. I have a cool picture of the Batcave here, so I'm going to add it. Oh no, problem. It's too large. Well, we'll resize it because they know what's best for their system, so I'll let them resize the Batcave here. It downloads, and now I can grab it and move it around. Maybe I want it to be inside of that box, though. What do I do? Well, I'm going to delete that. I click here, and we see there's a bracket frame. I can change it so that it's a bracket. I can keep it a circle, or I have the option to add a YouTube video or an image. So I want to add an image in that place. So I'm going to select from the computer, resize image. So now instead of it going to a circle of path point number 4, it's going to go to this image. Maybe I want to add in number 5, I want an image to be inside of the circle though. I want the frame. I still want the frame there. So what I do is insert image, and maybe I want it from Google. I always uncheck this. I don't care if it's pre-licensed for use in Prezi because I'm not selling this. I'm not making any money off of it. This is just for my classroom. So I search everything on Google. So I'm going to do a search for a kitty cat. Oh, pudding. Look at the cute kitties. Well, let's see. We'll go with the kitty cat in the boot because that's kind of cool. We click on that, and I just push enter, or you can click OK, and it processes it and it downloads it. Okay, now that it's downloaded, what was that? There was some dotted lines that just appeared. You might notice those dotted lines shows me that things are lined up. This picture is now perfectly centered with where it says double click to add text. It's now perfectly centered with that. When I move it a little more, it's perfectly centered with that. Or I can move it over this way and you see the dotted line faintly appears. It's now perfectly centered inside the frame. You also get them vertically and horizontally, so that the dotted line shows me this is now perfectly centered in that image. So I can now shrink it down. It's perfectly centered in the frame. Make it a little bit bigger there. So it already added these path points. But maybe I don't want it to just go to this frame. Maybe I want to zoom in on the picture specifically. What I do then is I add path, so no matter what items I want, it already has this frame, like connect the dots. It already has that frame built in for us, and whenever you're in the path menu item, if you're having problems, make sure you have the correct menu up. I can click on 1, I can click on 2, and it'll take me to where it is. It shows me what I'm looking at. If there's something, like for instance, maybe I don't want this to zoom in anymore. I can just click this little red X. When I'm in path, I click little red X, and now that's not an option. So it'll go from this one directly to that one. But maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I want it to zoom in on that. How do I add it? Well, I have this plus sign here where I can add it in again. Or maybe I don't want it to go to that circle. Maybe I want number 3 instead of being that little circle. Maybe I want number 3 to zoom in specifically on some of this text. Well, I can click number 3 and zoom it in on that. And we see it zooms in specifically. Now you also notice, let me move that back. You might also notice there's this little star here. That enables you to fade in and fade in the text by level. So I want this to fade in. So I click it and that little green number 1 appears. If I don't like it, I just click the red X, it gets rid of it. I make that one appear second, and I'll make this frame appear third. Then I click preview up here, the little play button. That text will fade in, then that text, then that frame. You have to click to make that happen. It doesn't do it automatically. So if you have downloaded it and you're using the clicker, every time you click to advance, it'll make those fade in one at a time. So now I've got that animation. My Prezi's looking pretty sharp already. Now maybe I don't want to have to go through all that. Maybe I don't want to have to go step by step and type things in. This frees us up from using PowerPoint, which helps us make better presentations, and it's more engaging, more interesting, cooler to look at. But maybe we still have all of our old notes and things on PowerPoint. Maybe we can't free ourselves entirely because we've got so much we have to use. Well, there's so much stuff we can insert. PowerPoint is right here. We can insert an actual PowerPoint, and what it does is it separates it out by slides. Over here, it uploads all of the slides. It converts them, and you can do insert all, and it automatically puts them all in there for you. Or you can select slides one by one. So maybe in number 6 over here, maybe I want number 6 to be this. Well, I just grab it, drag it, and drop it. And then I click the checkbox, and it puts that slide in there for me now. And looky there, I can actually take pieces of the slide. I can move them around, and I can edit the slides myself. So then maybe in number 7, I want it to be this. I click, drag, drop, check. Something cool is when I want to edit it, again, I have this little hand, so I can pull these things out individually and make them all their own little bullet points so I can move things around. Very cool. If I just do insert all, I'm going to go back to the home view, insert all, I can make it appear as a certain pattern. So I've got the light bulb, if we had that background. I like this, kind of looks like a galaxy. That's kind of cool. And you can choose to add a path between them all, or you can do it yourself. I'm going to go ahead and make it do it for me. Easy enough. Boom. It drops it. I check it. And now we have built in on the side, we've got all these. But I have these 2 blank ones. Maybe I don't want it to even go there. I'm going to do path again. I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to delete that one. So in my show, it was going to take me from my little kitten in the boot over to my PowerPoint slides. There's the title slide, and then it zooms one by one to all of the different slides that I've created. So even if you already have it, you can make a really cool dynamic presentation without using PowerPoint.